Sun just evaporates, and I can't get. It's hard to get below. Yeah, it's silly. It's funny.
Yeah,
but me and Sean are doing good.
Yeah, we got the great.
Hey, I actually had a question for you, Faraday, if you don't mind. Do you know the Curie temperature of barium titanate?
Oh God, curing temperature? It's pretty high. It's pretty high. For some reason, it's 2,000 degrees C. It's quite high.
Really?
Yeah, it's quite
really.
Yeah,
because Sean was asking me. Asking me.
I'll double check on. I don't know. For some reason, 2,000 comes in my head. It's quite high. Now, the reason is when they heat it up that hot, and when they make, say, like a wafer with barium titanate, they have to squeeze it to almost like 2 tons of pressure and heat it at the same time for it to cure.
So they're trying to centering.
Yeah, well, when you put it under pressure, the barium titanate, all those particles of the silica, they're all bonding together, and with the heat and everything, it creates that structure inside. So when you do put stress on it, it shifts and it creates the electricity, the charge. So it has to be cured at an extreme temperature and a lot of pressure. Pressure.
Thank you. Because Sean's been he's been looking into hookups on materials, because obviously, it's hard to get barium titanate, barium ferrite, all those materials like mech glass, especially mech glass. I mean, mech glass is going to cost
that
you
used to be
fortune.
It used to be very expensive, and I think it still is very expensive. Same as barium titanate.
But the reason it's expensive is not because of the material cost, it's because of the secret things you can do with it. You know what I mean? That's what I was telling Sean. Like, they mark it up on purpose because the average person can't get these materials,
Yeah, like the amount that I have right now.
Just like they make mercury.
Probably the amount I have right now, if I were to sell it all, is about 10 grand worth.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's how much I have.
But you bought it knowing it's worth,
I got it for free.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
I got it for free.
Gerald, I sent you the link if you want to join.
I'm just gonna scoot for a quick smoke. I'll be right back.
Hey, Jarvis, Met glass is an amorphous metal.
It's a how would I say this? It's a magnetostrictive metal that can be used for mechanical purposes with magnetic fields.
It's not Navy. Glass?
Well, technically, the glass part is because it's amorphous. Anything amorphous can be called a glass. So it's an amorphous, So
I've seen the material. It looks transparent.
Yeah, just by calling it glass, they're just saying it's amorphous. So the difference between a glass and quartz crystal is the quartz crystal has a certain structure. Glass is amorphous, so there's not a set structure throughout the glass structure. It's the same material. Glass is still quartz, technically, but it's not. It's amorphous. You know what I mean? So Met glass is it's an amorphous. Met glass is kind of on a different level. I would stick with the barium ferrite. I think barium ferrite's cool because it's one of those materials that can be both a magnet and electric at the same time. You know what I mean? Barium ferrite's a barium. Like when you get into trying to make, so you want materials that can be both permanently statically charged and permanently magnetically charged. Then you get into material science type of.
Why do you want it like that? What's your reasoning? That you
Like
want it
Sparky
both
Sweet,
statically and permanently?
yeah, Sparky Sweet, he did something similar to those lines where he utilized both the magnetic field and the electric field. A lot of people know that if you send a balloon up, you're going to get a huge voltage. But by using electrics, you can make it into a confined space. You don't have to send a balloon up to get the potential.
Oh,
right. Okay, that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, so you're producing the environment itself that would be mimicked by sending that balloon up in a very confined space.
Y'all see the patent I got up right now?
So you're saying the electric is a way of achieving the voltage potential that you want in a material.
Basically, yeah.
Without going high in altitude and all that.
Yeah, it's like I say a lot of times, like imagine having a magnet and people are like, who cares what a magnet is? What do you do with it? And literally the Industrial Revolution wouldn't have happened without magnets. And magnets are just the tip of the iceberg. Everything is electrical. And electrics have more impact on everything around us than magnets do. Magnets have certain impacts on.
Yes,
let me ask you another thing. You got the ability to make the high voltage with a coil and just, oscillating it or pulsing it or whatever you want to do with the buck boost function and all that. Why the need for the electric if you can do it with a coil in regards to voltage?
It's a permanent static charge, just like a magnet. So we use magnets to generate electricity with rotors over coils. And it takes a creative thought to see how something that's permanently statically charged can function the same as a magnet would in the future. It's the missing side of the coin. Magnetism does its thing, but electrics will act like magnets, but with electric fields instead of magnetic fields.
Right.
So it takes creativity to see where it can go, and it would take me all day to say where I think it can go. But it's like somebody saying that a magnet is worthless. You would be an idiot to say a magnet's worthless.
So the current fundamental understanding why electrics are useful is that you don't have to apply the charge to them.
It's constantly a static charge, just like if you were to pull your
you don't have to apply any charge like you do with a coil. You just
it's always charged, just like a magnet.
So that's the basic understanding of why it's beneficial at this point.
Yeah, because it is the second side of the coin. Electromagnetism is both, but nobody focuses on the electric side. Magnets have been so beneficial to society, but electrics, like
magnets just have the magnetic field. They don't have the electric, the voltage.
Yeah, I always say it. I kid around to Sean. I say, anything you can do, I can do better. Like anything a magnet can do, an electric can do beyond its ability, because electrics act on all matter. Magnets act on specific types of arrangements of valence atoms to give them magnetism.
Who wants their mind blown? Sorry to interrupt, but what we're looking at, not just the alchemy. Look at the height of the tower and the corresponding potentials that are mapped and gridded for electrical potential from the atmosphere and harvesting.
May I say this, Bernie? Remember what I told you what the philosopher's Mercury was?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
We'll never.
Well, what I will say, and we won't repeat that now, but what I will say with the philosopher's magnet is an electric. They use
you're wrong about something.
And I'm right. I know I'm right, dude. You can't.
Does
say
this
I'm
not look very familiar
about
there,
what?
Jeremiah, who's watching? The current patent I have up to what I was telling him and then what
It's just gonna
he
look bad.
came up with. And it's like, oh, look at that. Someone else came up with it, but I channeled it and he figured it out.
He says you're wrong about something.
All right. What am I wrong about, Mike?
No, not me. Jeremiah is saying in the chat something you said is, I don't know, probably about electrics or the magnetism or something.
You know, an electric charge can attract all metals. You know, copper, silver, gold.
Well, I mean, doesn't the electric charge need the amps to do that, though?
No, it's an electric. It's a
electric dipole spacecraft.
Yeah, it'll attract it to a minute level, but if you want more attraction, you need to involve the amps with that voltage, don't you?
That's where it comes to alignment of fields. Magnets and electrics can be combined, you know. But on a basic level, imagine your clothes coming out of the dryer and having really dry sand that has gold flowers. You could take your laundry if it's statically charged and attract the gold flowers out of the sand as long as it's very dry. That's the philosopher's magnet. And Bernie will know what I'm saying here when it comes to
fully do.
When it comes to the philosophers.
The magnet is needed to warp both.
I agree. A potential can attract anything, but at what amplitude,
Lordy B. I just can't.
Very minimal at this point, from what I understand.
I don't know.
The electrics don't have the power yet, the amps going.
All right. United States patent measure or what? What do we have here?
That's what I understand, that they're working on increasing the amplitude of the electrics.
Trust me, man. It's
solid state Tesla coil suit. Solid state Tesla coil suit.
What?
Well,
once they do, though.
Old man builds. I think you need to build this one. Nathan, this one is you. Solid state Tesla coil suit.
That is old man Bill's for real.
I found some Avrocar pics if you want to see them.
Oh, yes, please. Yeah. By all means, bring them up.
They're going to be the front, but this is what's silly. This is what people see and they think it's not good, but it's a background like Myke Faraday saying. Faraday research, sorry.
Oh, sorry, there we go.
That's the Avrocar.
Okay, yeah.
That's a air propeller, no?
Well, that's what they claim. That's what they built this model of. But it's that I found the corresponding patents that go along after it, and that like Myke Faraday was saying, this was just the cover, right? So they're like, oh, we built this vertical takeoff lift thing that didn't really balance, and don't look into it. And then there's 10 more patents that go along after.
Exactly.
So this was the front. Now, the big one they had was 120 meters in diameter. Apparently, it was huge. It took up the whole hangar.
It just blows.
That was a good line.
Yeah, that's just the Avrocar. I think that's just a distraction,
Yep. Yeah, it was very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was their cover for, hey, anytime you see a disc-shaped craft, it was just us testing the vertical takeoff thing that doesn't really work.
The funny thing is it really works very well because most people are going to be like, what's so special?
Yeah, exactly.
It does work. They're good at what they do, man.
We're going to get...
And also the Avro Aero, the airplane itself, that was also a front as well. That was going to be put into production, but Eisenhower basically told Diefenbaker to shut the program down. But all the real engineering was done by a company in Toronto where Ian Taz and Bert England and all these great engineers, they work for a company called Design X. And that's where they were working on the cold heat engine at the same time. That was one of their projects. One other project.
That's how they were powering the technology. That makes
That's
so
right.
much sense.
That was exactly what the purpose of that motor was going to do. Right, power the.
Bingo, bango.
From my perspective, they're using all these exotic explanations, such as the Bob Lazar explanation with the gravity and
You know what?
engine. It's all being used to say you can't do it.
Exactly.
You can't do anti-gravity because it's got to be complicated. And let's not forget, sound is very capable at levitating things. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. And they just do all these things to get us to forget about using sound in our experiments, which is
another element, Myke. Think of this one, because a lot of these UFO sightings, they're saying these things are huge.
Ralph brings the snake salesman.
But just listen to this idea. Listen to this idea.
No, Ralph brings the snake salesman.
Listen to this idea, okay?
He worked with OdySee Card. You're going to call him a snake salesman now.
Yes, I am.
All right, enough of that. Let's listen to what Faraday has to say first.
Okay.
Sorry.
Think of it.
Let's listen.
Now, okay, obvious what they had in Area 51, the Bob Lazar thing. Okay, that engineering is way beyond what we're capable of doing. Okay, way beyond. If it's true. Okay. Now, we could have anti-gravity devices right now by kind of cheating. Okay, very, very simple. Making giant UFOs, but filled with helium. There goes your gravity. It's gone right there.
Well, you're talking about like aerogel structures with
with helium.
The Tic Tac. Yeah, but that's kind of cheating. But you're right. You can do it that way.
Think about it.
You could.
Think about it this way.
Exactly how the MH370 orbs are.
There's also the stuff like Terran Earth is describing. The charge potential, the charge on the hull of the craft, whether it be an air balloon or whatever, a solid object. You give it a high voltage charge to the hull, and there goes your gravity.
Well,
again.
Think about it this way.
Anybody with OdySee car, though, like he would literally make it into an advertisement where you go into there and give you the experience of seeing indigo and transport you to a different place. But it was a gimmick. It was a gimmick, and it's proven it was a gimmick.
There's definitely more than one way to do AG.
It was a gimmick.
I don't know. I've been taking a look at OdySee car stuff lately, and
I know. I've looked into it too, but it's a gimmick. Trust me, he's a snake salesman. It's not. I
think so. I think there's more.
Hey, you're welcome to think what you want. You know what I mean? If you get results, you get results. That's all.
If I were to make a UFO right now, okay, based on our current technology that we have, all right. We know we don't have the technology of what the Bob Lazar.
What would you use, Myke?
Honestly, I would make a giant, helium type balloon that looks like a UFO, but to make it move, use the electrogravitics. That way, it doesn't make any sound.
You know what I would do?
Jeremiah knows what I would do.
Put it facing down the craft.
With the A field, the A field is more important than you guys get right now. The A field is essential.
But what I'm getting at,
utilize the A field is going to go more towards lift and propulsion when it comes to
what I'm getting at.
Forget what the A field is. Is that the magnetic or the electric?
It's a vector potential. Sorry, Myke. I'm so sorry.
What I'm getting at is with helium, you don't need any energy. So that solves one problem on lift. Now you can focus all your power that you generate in that UFO with electrogravitics, which would move your helium balloon high speed with no sound.
Balloon at high speed would just, it's not a solid.
I wish I got paid for anything.
You're going to shape it like a UFO. So it'll have the same dimensions as a UFO, but filled with helium. Now, a lot of these UFO sightings, they're saying these things are huge. Well, who's to say that they don't have either hydrogen inside or helium to give it lift?
It's like a sophisticated blimp.
Right. So if you take you say you're able to cancel out the weight of the craft by 80%.
This would have to be a craft.
Forces?
This would have to be an unmanned craft here. You could drone something like that, but you can't breathe in helium or hydrogen atmosphere.
No,
you know what I mean?
Be engineered to,
it would be a drone.
Areas.
I still think you need the high potential
it's certainly
charge to
possible.
cancel the G-force.
It's certainly possible, but it would have to be a drone. You can't literally have a hydrogen or a helium environment with a person on board.
No, you would engineer it so parts of the craft wouldn't have that. You would have, like little pockets inside that chamber where the helium is that is strictly for the occupants, right? And electrogravitics would go on the outside skin of the craft. And if you could eliminate the weight of the craft by even 80%, that's a huge energy savings on the craft. So all you have to worry about is propelling it without making
a small amount of propulsion goes a long way in that scenario.
Exactly, sure. Especially if it weighs like 10 tons.
Especially if you have the electric field canceling G-force. If you're able to do that.
Yeah.
It's not far-fetched for a high voltage potential to cancel G-force. It is probably a specific voltage too. I don't think it's just any voltage. Probably a range of voltage that is required to negate any G-forces that are, hitting the craft.
Yeah. So we're getting close to the end here, and my apologies, everyone, for how quickly I've been going through the photos, as I will be doing full breakdown episodes that are organized with all of these.
That looks like a speaker.
It does, but it's a UFO, of course. The disc-shaped craft, as they all are.
Looks like a complicated sound device.
Yes, good call. Yes, exactly, because the acoustic property is a huge property within it. Great observation.
Yep, you make the right frequency, it's going to cancel it out. You're going to get cancellation of mass.
Yep. And that's exactly what that was, Jeremiah. So you can help me get some funding, and I can give you all of these files plus the rest of it. All right. Closing words, my friends. Mr. Myke Jarvis.
Friday, we're go for the show at 9:00 Eastern, right at Faraday Research. So that's about it.
I will be there.
Hit the thumbs up, guys.
Right, always. Great advice, Mr. Myke. And Jarvis, you there? You muted? You're not sure? Maybe.
Yeah,
I guess it's probably. All right, well, there we go. I guess, everybody check out Faraday Research. Everyone check out Myke Does. Everyone check out Paranoid American, our great guest that was here. Oh, and for those that weren't here at the start, we'll play one more time the quick video of that Nathan or Thomas had shared that he did working with Disney about super wave fusion, cold fusion, and it's the exact processes, but more complex than what we've actually figured out ourselves. Fascinating stuff. This research is so advanced, there is still no mathematical formula for it. Oh, wait, that's what I have been writing out. Ha, 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 ha. Win me a Nobel Prize.
Did you hear Trump's getting a Nobel Peace Prize?
Yeah. They gave Obama one before he bombed 8 countries, so,
A
is applied to two electrodes immersed in an electrolytic solution of heavy water and lithium salts. This establishes a flow of current from a strip of palladium, acting as the cathode, to several platinum coils, acting as the anode. Temperature sensors measure the temperature of the electrolyte solution within the cell, as well as the cooling water that surrounds it in the larger jacket container.
What is this, Bernie?
Within the
I was saying I desperately need a travel fund, but
No. What is this thing we're looking at?
So this is an Israeli startup or something that had hired Thomas, Paranoid American, while he was working. Hired Disney to do this mock-up animation for them, and they did a few of these, and then it's like the company just disappeared. And this is from 2008. And
is this some kind of fusion device or something?
Yeah, it's a cold fusion device, right? And so it's showing heavy water here. The oxygen, and then the D's are deuterium, which is just hydrogen with extra neutrons in it. And yeah, so we'll play this little video here, and then I'll quickly explain how what we've discovered is all of this, but way easier, less complex, and we understand the mathematics.
Solution. Many of the D2O heavy water molecules are dissociated into OD negative and D positive ions. When the voltage is applied to the electrodes, the OD negative ions are attracted to the positively charged platinum anodes, where they lose an electron and combine with other OD ions to reform back into D2O, while the remaining orphaned oxygen atoms combine to form O2, which escapes as a gas up to the surface of the solution. Meanwhile, the D positive ions are attracted to the negatively charged palladium cathode, where they quickly find an electron on the surface of the cathode to neutralize their charge. This cathode is made of palladium atoms, arranged in a face-centered cubic lattice. Some deuterium atoms work their way into the lattice by popping through the interatomic sites within the lattice. Other deuterium atoms bump into each other along the surface of the palladium cathode and form a D2 molecule that's too big to enter the lattice. These D2 molecules cluster to form bubbles that rise up in the electrolyte solution. Simultaneously, new D2O molecules are dissociated in the electrolyte into more OD negative and D positive ions. So the process continues as long as the voltage is applied. However, when the super wave principle is used to vary the current with a pattern of rising and falling nested oscillations, the loading of deuterium atoms within the palladium lattice is enhanced, and so
if you get a moment,
deuterium atoms in and out of the cathode. As the concentration of deuterium in the lattice across the cathode surface increases, the deuterium starts to work its way deeper into the lattice, popping into neighboring interatomic sites. As the deuterium occupies more of these interior sites, the lattice dimensions increases a little. This lattice expansion causes mechanical
stresses. Get a moment,
can you check the private chat, Bernie? Resistance to deuterium diffusion, thus requiring higher currents to force more deuterium atoms into the lattice until it reaches saturation. When the concentration of deuterium within the lattice is high, they begin to move more collectively, like a school of fish or flock of birds.
They're in resonance.
All at once, but increasingly synchronized over time. At this point, pairs of deuterium atoms begin to disappear, fusing together to form an atom of helium-4 isotope. A significant amount of heat is released in this fusion process. The energy released by each helium atom that appears, 24 million electron volts, is dissipated.
Okay, running out of time. So, we've been able to reproduce that without needing the deuterium and still to make helium out of hydrogen, and also just through acoustic transmutate aluminum into iron. But we'll get into
would you mind showing the wood burgers?
I'm sorry, I don't have enough time, but I posted it in the link, but we only have 30 seconds left, so I have to end it. But anyone that wants to join after can do, and I posted the link to join in the live chat. Love you all. We'll see you on the next one.
You crazy mother. Yeah.
It's just Bernie.